Don't be surprised if war breaks out in the Middle East, because the United States is sending more weapons to the Middle East. They are preparing for large-scale war in the Middle East. Not just the Americans, the Israelis are also preparing. And the Iranians also released a video today of them also preparing ahead of time. Although the American military or the Pentagon has not released any official statement, but the only country that have the capability to fight against the Americans and the Israelis is Iran. Clearly, this is war against Iran. By the way, let's go into the details of the story. Now, I'll prove to you guys this is about Iran, but before that, let's go into the details of the story first. USA are preparing for large-scale war. This is reported by American and Israeli sources. The Pentagon PISA Index, an unofficial indicator of USA Department of War's military activity, is rising. It is also reported that American refueling aircraft, which previously flew to Europe, have been redirected to the Middle East. Some planes have already arrived at the base in Qatar. Others are waiting departure from British bases. Such concentration of force was observed before the previous attack on Iran. I hope you guys remember the attack by the Americans on Iran recently. Now, they are sending all these weapons to their base in Qatar. So you see why I refuse to talk about the Qatar incident. When the Israelis attacked, Qatar recently, most of you guys asked me to talk about it, and I said, I don't really care. Because Qatar has been hosting these American weapons. In fact, the biggest American military base in the Middle East is located in Qatar. And what exactly are they using all these weapons for? What is the purpose of this military base in Qatar? Clearly, against the Palestinians, against the Iranians, against other fellow Muslim countries. So, for me, when they attacked Qatar, I was quiet because I don't care. Now, this might be the reason why they are sending weapons. Yemen Houthi says they will target major U.S. oil exporters in nearby seas. Well, this is not new. The Houthis, for a very long time, they continue to target United States ships. And we all know that the Houthis are 100% funded by the Iranians. One thing about Iran is they are masters of proxies. They can fight with you for the next 100 years without fighting with you direct. They have a lot of proxies. Iran is not a small player. I think many people underestimate Iran, but Iran have a lot of influence in the Middle East. And Iran is the last country standing. Iranians are the only people who are confronting the Israelis directly. Take out Iran, and the whole of the Middle East will be under the control of the Israelis. Hamas is controlled by the Iranians. The Houthis, controlled by the Iranians. Hezbollah is controlled by the Iranians. So Iran, I think Iran is underestimated a lot. In the first American attack on Iran, what we learned was Iran is full of tunnel system. Their weapons are buried underground. Their command centers are underground. Some are deep in the mountains. And the Americans and the Israelis, they don't have any weapon that can penetrate deeper into where these Iranians store their weapons. Are you aware that the North Koreans dug these tunnel systems for them? This is clear example of what happened in Vietnam when the Vietnamese were fighting from underground. Their command centers were underground. And we all know that this became, the main reason, or this was the main reason why the Americans couldn't defeat the Vietnamese, because the Vietnamese were fighting from underground. Very difficult for you to penetrate and fight them. The main reason why Israel is struggling to defeat Hamas is because of the tunnel systems in Gaza. So Hamas emerged from underground. They attacked the Israelis. They ran back to underground. And we've all seen that the Israelis have no answer to this problem. All the weapons they are dropping on Gaza, it can't penetrate deeper into where these Hamas guys are. So this is the same challenge that they are going to face against Iran. And when you look at Hamas, Hamas is a proxy of Iran. Iran owns Hamas. They provide them with weapons, all the tunnel systems, they built it. So just imagine if they are struggling to defeat Hamas. I mean, just imagine, how is it possible if they are to fight against the Israelis? How are they going to defeat them? Iran have good engineers. In fact, they produce a lot of weapons on their own. When the Iranians started producing these kamikaze drones, they said they were cheap. I mean, everybody criticized them. Now today, the whole world, every country is trying to replicate the Iranian kamikaze drone. Note, the Russians re-engineered the Iranian kamikaze drone, the Shahed 2, Shahed 3 drones. All of them are pure copy of the Iranian kamikaze drone. And recently, the Americans said they are also going to produce such drones. Even all the Western countries are also saying the same thing. So I think Iran is underestimated a lot. Sometimes people make it look like the Iranians are weak. They are not weak. Are you aware that Iran is one of the few countries on earth here with hypersonic missiles? Are you aware? Yes, they have them. Sometimes they launch this Fatah, whatever. I've forgotten the name of this hypersonic missile. They call it the Fatah, something like that. When they launch it into Israel, the Israeli air defense systems don't even detect it, neither to talk about intercepting it. By the time they realize, boom, it will hit a target. So the Iranians, they have a lot of stuff. And I believe this is why the Americans are sending more weapons to the Middle East. You know how we do it. I am going to give you guys most of the update in this video. Don't forget to hit on the like button. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe. African proverb. Our forefathers said, you cannot hide pregnancy. If you are pregnant, you can never hide it. Sooner or later, everybody will find out that you are pregnant. Listen to this. In Ukraine, they cannot find the bodies of the deceased British mercenaries. And the country foreign ministry refused to help their families. They denied that there were no Western soldiers or Western mercenaries fighting in Ukraine. Now, their families cannot find them. They want their families back. They can't find them. Oh, sorry to these families who lost their loved ones in Ukraine. The fact is, they are not coming home again. The fact is, you know, most of these foreign mercenaries who were unalived in Ukraine, the Ukrainian authorities didn't even bother to reclaim back their bodies. That is the fact. Their families want to give them a deserving or, you know, a good burial. They want to pay their last respect to their family members who died. And the fact is, they are not coming back. This is not the first time that something like this is happening. I still remember in the beginning of the war, somewhere in 2022, this issue came up and it's back again. The main reason why the Ukrainian authorities don't care is because when they declare these soldiers dead, they are supposed to compensate their family members. There's some amount of money they are supposed to give their family members. So they decide to keep quiet. So their family members don't even know whether they are dead or alive. And they have also refused to hand over these dead bodies to their family members. So you see the problem. So the point is, without proof of dead bodies, the Ukrainian authorities are not obligated to pay. So they would rather hide the dead bodies of these guys and they wouldn't pay for any compensation. This is the main reason why this is happening. Now, one thing I've realized is Russia is too important to be ignored or banned. Russia is very, very crucial for the whole world because their resource is very, very important. Are you aware that Americans continue to pump in billions of dollars for the Russian economy? They continue to trade with the Russians. Listen to this. Russia remained the largest supplier of enriched uranium to USA despite sanctions, according to Bloomberg. So this was posted by Bloomberg. And even Western Europeans who are directly involved in this war, they also continue to pump in more and more money for the Russian economy. So you see why Russia will never collapse. So all the sanctions they imposed on the Russians is absolutely nothing. It doesn't make sense. They are rather criticizing other countries, but in reality, they continue to give the Russians billions and billions of dollars. Russia is a force to reckon with. If Russia don't supply their oil today, oil is going to be expensive on the market. So Russia is a force to reckon with. Russia is too important to be ignored. And this is also a reminder to the Ukrainians that, all these countries who told you that they will fight till the last Ukrainian, all of them are looking for their own interest, or all of them are looking at their own interest, right? So they wouldn't risk their economies just because of the Ukrainians. No. I continue to use Japan as an example. When Japan realized that, look, them going full anti-Russia was going to affect them. Yes, Japan is part of G7, but Japan never went full anti-Russia. They ignored Western and American pressure, and they still went ahead to trade with the Russians. Russia remained the top producer of LNG for Japan. Now, the countries who decided to make the Russians their number one enemy, Germany, today, look, Germany is lagging behind. Today, Germany auto industry cannot be compared to the Japanese. Look at Toyota, Nissan, Mazda, Honda, all these car companies. They continue to grow. When you look at Germany, Benz, BMW, VW, all of them, they are collapsing because of this, their anti-Russian rhetoric. So one thing I've realized is all these countries who decided to go full anti-Russia, their economies are struggling. And the countries who decided to think twice and decided to trade with the Russians, their economies are growing. Typical example is Hungary. Hungary refused to go full anti-Russia. Look at the German economy, is doing well. Look at France economy, is struggling. Germany economy is collapsing. Check them. Italy refused to go full anti-Russia. Look at the economy. You barely hear anything about, Italy economy. So, I mean, this is a quick reminder to all of you that, Russia still remains an important country, and the rest of the world will continue to trade with Russia. Russia is not isolated. If they told you that Russia is isolated, that is absolutely false. They are not isolated. Even those who impose sanctions on them continue to trade with them. Important announcement. I am struggling to upload my videos on time because of data issues. So anybody who wants to support us with data is very, very important to me, because without data we can't upload long form content. So if you want to support me with data, I will leave my number in the description. Check in the description, my number is there if you wish to support me with data. A lot is really happening, but the fact is, if I make the video too long, uploading it becomes very difficult for me because it consumes a lot of data when I make the videos too long. By the way, what do you think about whatever is happening? Let me know down in the comment section. Your opinion is very, very important to me. Shalom. See you guys in the next episode.